I knew it was wrong the moment our eyes met, but something about my student's father, James Dean, made it impossible to walk away. One stolen glance turned into a secret I couldn't resist. I was supposed to teach his son, not fall for the man behind those unforgettable eyes. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. And one request, please always keep smile on your face. The first time I saw him, he was sitting alone in the back of my classroom during parent-teacher night, his dark green eyes scanning the student artwork on the walls as if searching for something deeper. His name was James Dean, and he had the kind of presence that didn't need to speak to be noticed. Tall, rugged, with short, slightly graying hair and a confidence in his stillness. It was the kind of masculinity you didn't see every day. I was Grace Kelly, 30 years old, a literature teacher in a quiet suburban middle school just outside Atlanta. I'd been teaching for almost 8 years. I'd seen hundreds of parents come and go, but none of them ever made me forget what I was saying halfway through a sentence. None of them made my fingers tingle when we shook hands. And none of them made me stare at my reflection in the bathroom mirror afterward, asking myself, what just happened? His son, Franklin, was a good kid, quiet, a little reserved, but attentive and smart. I'd noticed him early on because he would write poetry that felt like it came from an old soul. Now, meeting his father, it made sense. James had that same depth. And mystery. The meeting was brief. He asked about Franklin's progress. I told him the truth. Franklin was one of my best students. He nodded, his eyes never breaking from mine. Thank you for noticing him, James said. He's been through a lot. We both have. I didn't ask more. It wasn't the time or place. But I wanted to. And that want, it simmered inside me for days. A week later, I saw him again. He had come to pick Franklin up early for a dentist appointment. I was in the hallway headed back from the staff room. Our eyes met again. He smiled, and this time I smiled back. Grace, he said, remembering my name like it meant something to him. You free for coffee sometime? It was against every line I'd drawn for myself as a teacher, but I nodded. Yes. Our first meeting was casual coffee on a Sunday morning. We met at a little corner cafe near the park. He wore jeans and a gray t-shirt that hugged his arms just right. I wore a soft green blouse and jeans that I hoped made me look effortless. We talked about Franklin, then about books, then music, and then silence. Not awkward silence, but the kind that said we're both thinking about the same thing. The pull between us was undeniable. He walked me to my car. The sun was setting behind him, casting a glow that made his face look like something from a dream. And before I could say goodbye, he stepped closer. I shouldn't do this, he whispered. I know, I breathed back. But the way he brushed a strand of hair from my cheek and let his fingers linger, it was over before it even began. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything, his voice, the way he smelled like cedar and coffee, and the softness in his eyes when he looked at me like I was something fragile and powerful all at once. We didn't see each other for a few days, but the texts started. Late-night thoughts, morning check-ins, subtle flirting that grew hotter by the day. One Friday afternoon, after all the students had left and the halls were empty, I stayed behind grading papers. My classroom door creaked open. I looked up, surprised. It was James. I waited until everyone left, he said. I couldn't stop thinking about you. My heart thudded in my chest. He stepped inside and shut the door. The room felt smaller suddenly. Warmer. You shouldn't be here, I said, standing. I know, he replied, walking toward me slowly. But I had to see you. I had to know if this thing between us is real. My breath caught. He was inches from me now. It is, I whispered. His lips touched mine, and it was fire and softness all at once. His hands cupped my face as if I were something sacred. We kissed like we had been waiting forever. We pulled apart just enough to breathe. This is crazy, I said, my voice trembling. Then let's be crazy, he said, and kissed me again. That moment unlocked something in me. For weeks, we snuck away for moments. A quick coffee before school. Late night drives to nowhere. One evening, I sat in his truck as rain fell, watching the wipers sweep across the glass as he held my hand and told me stories of his life, of raising Franklin alone after his wife left, of the battles he fought just to stay strong for his son. He wasn't just a man I desired. He was a man I admired. A man I was falling for. But we were careful. We never crossed lines that couldn't be uncrossed. We never brought it near school or around Franklin. Still, the heat between us grew. One evening, he invited me to his home under the pretense of tutoring Franklin. It was a quiet Sunday. Franklin went to his room after we worked for an hour, and James and I stayed in the kitchen, cleaning up, laughing, stealing glances. When he brushed past me, his hand accidentally brushed my waist. We froze. Then he looked into my eyes, and I knew I couldn't fight it anymore. We kissed again, longer, deeper this time. He held me like he had been dreaming of this moment. His hands moved with care, grazing my sides, stopping just where it would have gone too far. He was always respectful, but he knew how to make my body ache with just a touch. We stopped before things escalated. But that night, I lay in bed thinking about what I wanted, what I was afraid of, what I was already too far into to deny. I wanted him, not just physically, but emotionally, all of him. But secrets don't stay buried forever. One morning, Franklin mentioned that his dad had been happier lately. He even sings while cooking eggs now, he chuckled. My heart warmed, but fear crept in. If anyone found out my job, my reputation, his custody of Franklin, it could all blow up. I knew I had to talk to James. We met again, this time at a trailhead where no one would recognize us. We walked under tall pines, the wind brushing through the branches above. I'm scared, I confessed. So am I, he said, stopping to face me. But I'm also sure of one thing. I haven't felt this alive in years. I touched his hand, intertwining our fingers. I feel the same. We decided to take a break, to cool things down, to be safe. It lasted a week. Then one night, I heard a knock on my door. I opened it to find James standing there, soaked from the rain. I tried, he said. I can't stay away. I didn't say anything. I just pulled him inside. We spent the night talking, wrapped in blankets on my couch, legs tangled, hearts wide open. There was something sacred about the way he looked at me. Something that made me feel seen, not just as a woman, but as someone who mattered. He kissed me slow, deep, with intention. My skin buzzed beneath his fingertips. He traced the line of my collarbone with soft kisses, murmuring my name like a secret he wanted to keep forever. We didn't cross the line even then. But it was the most intimate night I'd ever had with anyone. Love, I realized, wasn't just in the physical. It was in the way he listened. The way he protected my fears. The way he made me feel when we were together, even in silence. Weeks passed. The school year neared its end. Rumors about a new relationship spread, but no one knew the truth. We kept it sacred. We kept it ours. By summer, Franklin graduated to high school. I no longer taught him. James and I no longer had to keep our connection hidden. We started seeing each other openly. Dinners in town. Walks in the park. A new chapter, no longer filled with stolen moments, but with shared ones. Looking back now, I still remember the first time our eyes met in that classroom. Who knew one glance could lead to so much? He was my student's father. I was his son's teacher. But love doesn't ask permission. It simply happens. And when it's real, you don't resist it. You follow it. With your whole heart. Please press the bell icon for more interesting